Welcome back at last to Trash Plays Ashes Ascendancy. I have finally gotten the nature expansion, so let's play. We're going to be playing against Indiri Aldair with 5 aspects using Kanna Galeheart's unmodified deck, using 5 astro die, 5 nature die. Also, I am going to modify the starting hand just a little bit. It's going to be Summon Storm Spirit, Tailwind, Summon Galehawk, Eagle Trainer, as expected, but I'm going to substitute Hurricane, or I'm going to, substitute Hurricane for the one that deals 2 damage. I forgot what it was. So, we're going to roll our dice to see what we get. And I got at least, 2 frogs and 2 leaves and a basic, followed by 1 owl, 3 moons, and 1 basic. Cool. So, the reason I have done that is because there's quite a lot of arrows that they are going to summon, and Hurricane deals 1 damage to all their units, and that's going to be quite cool. So I guess I want to start by summoning something that I don't care that much about, so I'm going to put out my Summon Storm Spirit. The reason I want my leftmost unit to be something I don't care about is because their ready spell 1 is going to deal 2 damage to my leftmost aspect at the end of the round. So I want to make sure that I don't have my Galewind Hawk on the left, which is my favorite unit in this deck. So that's going to be the... that's my side action for my... that's my main action, sorry. For my main action, I'm going to play my Tailwind, which is absolutely bonkers and broken, and I hope I get some more during this game to show you just how bonkers and broken it is. That's going to be my main and my side action. Now it's going to be their turn. We're going to roll to see what they do. And that is a basic. A basic is attack if able, if not reveal, so they're going to reveal a Fletch. Fletch has, at the end of the round, and when this unit is destroyed, place 1 status token on the Dragonborn. And as a reminder, when they get status tokens, well, at the beginning of their turn, they're going to remove a status token from them to put out a random arrow onto their board. So that's not great. Don't want them to survive past the end of the round, but also when you destroy them, they're going to put a arrow on them, basically, and it's a 1/1/1 with the shield icon, so I can't even attack directly because the Fletch is going to block. So now it's my turn, and I'm going to play my Summon Galewind Hawk, and that's going to be the end of my turn. I don't feel like using my Hurricane just yet, and now it's going to be their turn. We're going to roll to see what they do. That's a Crown. Crown is going to be raise 1 dice, 1 level, and reveal. Well, technically, it's going to be activate the ready spell, which is raise 1 basic dragon die, 1 level. And we're going to reveal Oppress. Oppress is a 4/3/2, big stat, and it attacks my leftmost unit with Oppress 1. After this unit destroys a unit an opponent controls by attacking, place 1 exhaustion token on that opponent's target leftmost unexhausted unit. So, if I had 2 units on the board, and he attacked my leftmost, it destroyed my Galewind Hawk, it would then exhaust my Galewind Hawk on the left, or on the right, because it's the next leftmost unexhausted unit, so don't want that to happen. What do I want to do? I can't take it out. Okay, let's play my Eagle Trainer. This is going to cost my main action, a moon, and a basic. For the moon, or for the basic, I'm going to use a... Let's go with a nature dice, and that is a 1/2/1, and it has Call Eagle Fletching. When this unit comes into play, place an Eagle Fletchling onto your battlefield, and an Eagle Fletchling has Uplift. When this unit comes into play, I can place an an astro die from my exhaustion pool onto it, and that means that it's going to take 1 less damage the next time it gets damage. It's a 1/1/0, and that's going to be my main action, no side action. Yeah, no side action. So let's roll to see what the Dragonborn does. Going to be a basic, so they're going to attack. So Oppress is attacking my Eagle Trainer, and once per round you can have your Phoenixborn guard a unit directly, which is what I'm going to do. Kanna Galeheart is going to guard the Eagle Trainer, and I'm just going to take this 4 damage to the face, which doesn't seem like a great idea, but I think I want these 2 units around to deal with the arrows instead. It's a bad decision either way. So now it's my turn. This is exhausted, and I don't want to play my Hurricane just yet, so I think... Instead, I am going to now use my Summon Storm Spirit. This is going to cost my main action, exhausting this, and a moon. And this is going to put a Storm Spirit Conjuration onto my battlefield. And Storm Spirit is a 1/1/0 with Hex 1. When this unit comes into play, you may lower 1 die in target opponent active pool by 1 level. So I can turn this Crown back into a basic, and now it's their turn, so they're going to roll that basic into another Crown. Alright, so this is going to turn this into a Crown, and then reveal another Fletch. Great. Awesome. Cool. Okay, my turn. Summon Galewind Hawk. This is going to cost a leaf and an astro die to get a Galewind Hawk out. My side action, I could Hurricane right now, but I don't think I want to just yet. I kind of want to get rid of these Fletches first to get all the arrows out, and then use my Hurricane. So that's going to be the end of my turn. Let's roll the dice. That's going to be another crown, and another crown means that this also turns into a crown, which means that these are 5 non-basics, which turns these into basics, which then puts a status token onto Indiri Aldair, and it reveals a volley of arrows. So Volley of Arrows comes into play with 3 status tokens, and at the beginning of the Dragonborn's turn, it's going to remove a status token from this unit to put a random arrow onto the battlefield. And it's a 2/2/2. That's great. Okay. They're also going to get an arrow right away. I think at this point I want to have my Galewind Hawk attack the Volley of Arrows directly. Yeah, I'm going to have the Galewind Hawk attack the... but the Fletch is going to block it. This is incredibly inconvenient because the Fletch is just going to block it, but when Galewind Hawk attacks, I can use a leaf in my exhausted pool to deal 1 damage to the Fletch. So before blockers are declared, it would be destroyed. And if this Fletch wasn't here, then I could attack the Volley of Arrows. But because there's a second Fletch here, I need to take care of this Fletch first. I didn't want to do this, but I think I have to, if I don't want to get completely overrun. I'm going to side action use a frog in my discard, or in my active pool, to deal 1 damage to this Fletch. And then when this Fletch is destroyed, it's going to put a status token onto the Dragonborn. That's also going to deal 1 blood damage to the Dragonborn, but now this Fletch is destroyed. And then I am going to have my Galewind Hawk main action, Galewind Hawk attack the Volley of Arrows, and I'm going to activate the frog from my from my exhausted to deal 1 damage to this Fletch, which will also put a status token onto the Dragonborn, and it will also put 1 more blood damage onto them. And now because I attacked a unit directly, they are going to roll a basic dice to see if they're going to guard this attack, and if I roll a basic, they're going to guard, and if I roll a non-basic, they're not going to guard. I believe that's how that goes. So let's roll to see what they do. That's a crown. Okay, so because I rolled a crown, they do not guard this. The Volley of Arrows and the Galewind Hawk are going to fight each other, so that's going to destroy each of them, and that's going to deal 2 blood damage to the Chimera, not Chimera, the Dragonborn, and both of these are going to be destroyed. And then that was my side action and my main action, so now it's their turn. They still have a face down unit. So first they're going to use a status token to get an arrow out, a random arrow. This one is an entangling arrow. This has Tango 2. When this unit is declared as an attacker, the target opposing player must lower 2 non-basic dice in their active pool by 1 level. And ephemeral. When this unit becomes exhausted, destroy it. And because that was a crown... Wait, no, they didn't roll yet. They didn't roll yet, so let's roll to see what they do. That's a crown. Okay, so they rolled a crown, so that raises 1 basic dice to a crown, and they are also going to reveal a quick shot. Dragon's Might 1, when this unit comes into play, place 1 status token onto the dragon. They're going to have so many freaking arrows. Alright, so what am I going to do now? The problem is that I was saving my Hurricane for when they had a bunch of arrows out, so I could deal 1 damage to each of them and destroy all of them. However, they have 3 status tokens on their Dragonborn, so that's not gonna really solve the problem. They're still going to get 3 more arrows, and if I don't do anything now, they're going to get an arrow, and then all 3 are going to attack at once. So it's optimal to use the Hurricane right now. Yeah, unfortunately that is the case. It is optimal to use it right now. So I need to use 3 basic dice. I'm going to use everything left except for my frog, and that's going to remove 1 exhaustion token from a Phoenixborn or Ready spell, and I'm going to remove it from... You know what, before that, I guess I'm going to exhaust Kanna Galeheart for my main action to look at the top 5 cards of my deck and choose an action spell to put into my hand. And the action spell I'm going to put into my hand, I didn't really want any of them, I guess will be... Actually, you know what? Let's get the Searing Bolt into my hand. And then these get shuffled back into my deck. Yeah. That seems like the best option. So that was my main action, and then for my side action, I'm going to play the Hurricane, and the exhaustion token I'm going to remove is the one that's on my Phoenixborn, so she's going to be unexhausted. It's also going to then lower 3 dice in target opposing active pool by 1 level, so all 3 of these crowns become basics again, followed by deal 1 damage to all unit that opponent controls. So this is going to deal 1 damage to the quick shot and the entangling arrow. Entangling arrow has blood 1, so they're not going to take any damage, or blood damage from this, but the quick shot does have blood 1, so that's going to deal 1 damage to the Dragonborn. So the Searing Bolt is now in my hand. I'm not going to do anything with that. That was my main and my side action, so now it's going to be their turn. Their turn, they're going to use a status token to get a random arrow out. That's going to be another entangling arrow, and that's going to... They're now going to attack with it. So that's going to lower my When this unit is declared as an attacker, target opposing player must lower 2 non-basic dice in their active pool by 1 level. Okay, so this turns this into a leaf, and this is now going to attack for 1. I'm going to block with my Eagle Fledgling, who has a Astral Die on it, so they're going to take 1 less damage from this attack, so the Eagle Fledgling doesn't die, and the Entangling Arrow gets shuffled back into their arrow deck. So that's their main action, and now it's my turn, and I'm going to, before they do another one of those, I'm going to use my Leaf side action for my Searing Bolt. Deal 2 damage to target unit an opponent controls with the highest life value of units they control. They only control that 1 unit, so it's going to deal 2 damage to this Oppress. For my main action, I'm going to have my Eagle Trainer attack this Oppress. No, that's suboptimal, because I want my Eagle Trainer to block an arrow so that they'll still live after the block, so that at the end of the round, the ready spell is going to deal 2 damage to my Eagle Trainer to destroy it. So yeah, my Storm Spirit is going to attack the Oppress, and we're going to roll a basic dice to see if they're going to guard this. That's a crown, so they don't guard this. So that's going to deal the 1 damage necessary to destroy the Oppress, who has Blood 2, dealing 2 damage to the Dragonborn. And now my Storm Spirit is exhausted. Now it's their turn. They're going to get another random arrow out, and that arrow is going to be a burning... it's a burning arrow. This is annoying because this has an aggressive 1. When this unit is declared as an attacker, it adds 1 to the attack value for the remainder of the turn, so it's going to be 2 attack coming at me. So my Eagle Trainer would die. I think it's better to save my Eagle Trainer for the next arrow. So I'm just going to take this 2 to the face, so I'm up to 6 damage. And then it has Ephemeral. It's going to get exhausted when it attacks, and after it becomes exhausted, destroy it. So this is going to get shuffled back into the deck. And now it's my turn. And for my main action, I'm going to use Kanna's ability. Look at the top 5 cards, choose an action spell, put it into my hand. I'm looking for another Hurricane. There's no Hurricanes. Why is there no Hurricanes? I guess I'll take the Gathering Clouds instead then. And then these get shuffled into my deck. So Kanna is now exhausted, and then it's their turn. They're going to use their last status token, get out their last arrow, and that's going to be another Burning Arrow. Jeez, okay. You know what? Fine. Eagle Trainer is going to block this. I'm fine with losing my Eagle Fledgling. Burning Arrow is attacking. Eagle Trainer is going to block this. Eagle Trainer is going to die. Burning Arrow gets shuffled back into the arrow deck. And I believe that's going to be it for them and me. I don't have the dice to play the card that I just got. I don't have any... Yeah, I don't have any other actions. They don't have any other actions. That's going to be it. So, end of the round. Everything unexhaust. I can once again guard again for a unit, and I am going to roll my dice first to see if I want to keep my hand, which I probably will. So that's going to be 2 frogs, a leaf, and 2 basics, and no moons, or no owls, and 2 basics with 3 moons. Then it's going to be, they get a status token for every living aspect. They don't have any aspect. Then we're going to refill their battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to progress the ready spell. So this is going to do the bottom part, deal 2 damage to each opposing player's leftmost unit. So my Eagle Fledgling is going to take 2 damage and die. Place a random arrow conjured aspect onto each of the battlefield. So that's going to be an Entangling Arrow. And remove this spell from the game, progressing the ready spell 2. Also, the Dragonborn goes first this time. I forgot to draw my hand. So I have Gathering Cloud in my hand. Summon Galewind Hawk. There's my Hurricane. Good. Freezing Rain and Tailwind. Oh, second Tailwind as well? Okay, this is good hand. This is good hand. So we're going to roll to see what they do. Basic, that's going to be Attack of Fable, if not Reveal. And the Entangling Arrows attacking, unfortunately, which is going to force me to lower 2 non-basic dice 1 level. I am going to lower a leaf to a basic and a frog to a leaf. That doesn't feel great. I'm also just going to take this 1 damage, and this is going to die by exhaustion. Now it's my turn. I think I'm going to use main action. I'm just going to play my Summon Galewind Hawk. I'm going to play a second one. And side action, I'm going to play my Tailwind. That's right. That's also a side action. So now it's going to be their turn. We're going to roll to see what they do. Crown, which raises this to a crown, and then they're going to reveal a volley of arrows. High priority target. Want to get rid of that right away. Otherwise, they're going to keep getting status tokens. Oh, they're not going to get status tokens. They're just going to straight up get arrows. I'm not sure if I've been doing that correctly. Alright, let's see what happens if I attack. So Storm Spirit is going to attack the volley of arrows, roll the ding. If it's basic, they will guard. And then if I do hit it, I'm going to use my frog to kill the volley of arrows. That's a crown, I don't hit it. So that's going to deal 1 damage at least to Indiri, and that's my main action. For my side action, well, I think at the very least I'm going to need at least 1 more leaf. So I guess side action, I'm going to meditate 1 card off the top of my deck. That's a freezing rain to turn this in, or sorry, not leaf. Well, yes, leaf, but I'm going to turn this into a frog, just in case it gets knocked down to a leaf. So that's going to be the end of my turn, and then at the start of the Dragonborn's turn, remove 1 status token from this unit to place a random arrow onto this board, which is a burning arrow. And then we're going to roll to see what they do. This is the last also on this, and it is a dragon, which turns these all back into... Whoops. I don't remember how much damage was on there. That's unfortunate. I'm going to pause the tape real quick to see what that's supposed to be. But either way, they're going to get a status token first, and they're going to reveal and attack with the Oppress. This attacks my leftmost unit, and if it destroys that, it's going to place an exhaustion on my next leftmost unit. I think I'm going to actually just let it destroy my Storm Spirit, because it's already exhausted, and I don't have another leftmost unit to get exhausted. So I'm kind of okay with that happening. So Oppress is going to be exhausted, my Storm Spirit is going to be destroyed, and then it's going to be my turn after I check how much damage it's supposed to be on Indiri. It looks like the correct answer was 8, and now it's my turn, and I am very tempted to just do my Hurricane right now, but I'm even more tempted to do it next turn, because what's going to happen is they're going to remove a status token to get another arrow, plus they already have a status token which will put another arrow out, and if they don't attack with the center icon, then I get to destroy 3 arrows at once instead of just 1. You know what, let's play it relatively safe. Okay, let's use my Gathering Clouds. This is going to cost my main action, my side action, a moon, and a basic dice. For the basic dice, I'm going to use a nature dice, and that's going to put out 2 Cloud Spirits onto my battlefield and an Astro Die from Exhausted Pool onto my Phoenixborn. So this goes onto my Phoenixborn, and I get 2 Cloud Spirits. And Cloud Spirits have Disperse, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, Disperse. Discard this card at the end of the round unless you control another copy of this card. So unless I keep both of them, they're both going to get destroyed, and they are both 1/1s. And that's my main and my side action, so now it's their turn, and I'm going to hope they don't attack with the center icon, but even if they do, I'm going to have 2 blockers and an Astro Die on me. So first what's going to happen is they're going to get rid of one of these to get an arrow out, and that's going to be a Tangling Arrow, which I really don't like. And then they're also going to use one from his own self to get another arrow out, which is going to be a second Entangling Arrow, which I really don't like. Alright. Now we're going to roll the dice. Let's see what they do. Please don't be a basic... That's a crown. Okay, so a crown is going to raise this, and it's going to bring this up to a lion weight. Concealed, this unit cannot be targeted by attacks, spells, or abilities, or dice powers that opponent controls. And unseen, this cannot be blocked unless all attacking units without the unseen ability have been blocked. So that means that when the center icon attacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units are going to attack me directly, and I can't block the lion weight unless these 4 are also blocked. So now it's my turn, and now I think it is the optimal time to use my Hurricane. That is going to be a side action. For my main action, I should use something else first so that I can unexhaust it. Do I want to use my Dragon or Phoenixborn to search for another card, or do I want to use my Summon Gale Windhawk so I can get... it's not going to matter either way because I already have a second Summon Gale Windhawk. So I guess I'm going to use Kanna's ability for my main action to look at the top 5 cards of my deck and get an action spell into my hand. Action spell, I can only choose Freezing Rain. Okay, so Freezing Rain is coming into my hand, and then these are going to get shuffled back into my deck. And then, for my side action, I'm going to use my Hurricane. So, Hurricane, 3 basic dice. What do I want to use? I'm going to use let's just use these 3 basic dice, because I kind of want that both of those Gale Windhawks. So, that's going to be 3 dice. I'm going to remove an exhaustion token from either a Phoenixborn or Ready Spell Control, so I'm going to remove it from my Phoenixborn. I'm going to lower 3 dice and target opposing player's dice pool, and I'm going to deal 1 damage to all unit that opponent controls. So, that's going to be 1 damage... here, not gonna kill it. 1 damage here, still not gonna kill it. 1 damage to the lion weight. It is concealed, I can't target it, but I am not targeting it. I'm dealing 1 damage to all their units. So this is still gonna take the 1 damage, and it's gonna deal 1 damage to all these arrows, which will get rid of them and get them shuffled back into the deck. So that's my main and my side action, and now it's gonna be their turn, and they're going to remove a counter from volley of arrows. That's right. Which is why they're still going to get an arrow back. And let's see which arrow it is. Going to be a whistling arrow. I think that's the best one, honestly. I think I'd rather have the whistling arrow than the other two. So now we're going to roll a dice. That's going to be a crown. Crown is going to turn this into a crown, and it's also going to reveal a quick shot. When this unit comes into play, place a status token onto... Jeez, all these freaking arrows. So many freaking arrows. Okay, how am I going to deal with this? Freezing Rain, place 1 exhaustion token on target exhausted unit. I need the volley of arrows to die. Like, that is required. I don't want to go into next round with them still having the volley of arrows and then Wait, volley of arrows only gets 2 counters, not 3. Oops. I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter. I killed all of them anyways. But now I am going to... Yeah, I think... Alright, main action, I'm going to use a moon and a leaf to use my summon Galewind Hawk to get my Galewind Hawk out. And then side action, I'm very tempted to just use a frog to destroy the volley of arrows, but I know that's not required. But the whistling arrow is there, and I really don't like that whistling arrow being around. I think no side action. No side action, let's roll to see what they do. First, they're going to remove a status token to get out another arrow. That's an entangling arrow. Declared as an attacker, I must lower 2 non-basic dice. Oh no, whistling arrow I'm okay with. It's a entangling arrow, the one I don't care for. So roll the dice. That's going to be a basic. It is a basic. So now it is going to be center icon. The leftmost unexhausted unit is a center icon. So this is attacking, this is attacking, this is attacking, and these are attacking. Because of this Tango 2, I must lower 2 non-basic dice 1 level. So I'm going to turn these frogs into leaves. And now I have to declare blockers. I guess my Cloud Spirit will block the volley of arrows to destroy the volley of arrows. I can't... No, I can block the Lion Weight, so the Cloud Spirit is also going to be... No, I can't block the Lion Weight. I guess the Cloud Spirit then is going to block this Quick Strike. And I'm going to save my Galewind Hawk, so I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage from this. That hurts. Okay, 5 damage. I'm up to 12 out of 17 damage. I can only take 4 more damage. So then these 2 Cloud Spirits are both going to be destroyed. But it's going to deal 1 damage back to each of these, which will also destroy these. So that's a total of 3 blood damage to the Chimera. So they're at 11 out of 30. The Lion Weight is now going to be exhausted. And then these 2 arrows are both going to be shuffled back into the deck. And now I have one more aspect, or one more face-down card to deal with. Oh, sorry, I take 1 less damage because I have the Astro Die on me, so this is forced to be exhausted to deal 1 less damage to me. My leftmost unit is now also my Galewind Hawk, so it's going to automatically be destroyed at the end of the round thanks to their Ready spell. I guess main action, I am going to have my Galewind Hawk attack the Oppress, who still has 1 or 2 life left. And then my Galewind Hawk is going to use, when it attacks, I'm going to choose a natural Astro Die in my dice pool to resolve its dice power. So I'm going to use a natural die to deal 1 damage to this Lion Weight to defeat this Lion Weight. Because it is exhausted, it is no longer concealed. So this is going to be 2 more blood damage to the Dragonborn. And I have to roll to see if they're going to guard this or not. And that's a dragon, so they're not going to guard this. So my Galewind Hawk is now exhausted, and the Oppress is dead, dealing 2 more blood damage to them, putting them up to 15 out of 30. So they are now halfway dead. Okay. I still have 2 Freezing Rains in my hand. That was my main action. I have no side action. That's going to be the end of my turn. Let's roll to see what they do. That's going to be a basic, attack if able, if not reveal, and they get a Lion Weight. Okay. So they're going to attack me directly. That's going to be 3 damage, and I'm going to not like that. So I guess main action, I'm going to use 2 for... do I want to use 2 for another Galewind Hawk? No, you know what? Better idea. Better idea, better idea. I'm going to use my Astro Die for my Summon Storm Spirit. And my Storm Spirit is going to lower 1 die, 1 level. Yeah, 1 die, 1 level. So I'm going to turn one of their crowns back into a basic when it comes into play. And more importantly, it is a 1/1, so it won't kill the Lion Weight. So that's my main action. I'm going to side action, do nothing, because I can't do a side action just yet. So now it's their turn, and they only have units left, so they're going to attack. So the Lion Wake is going to attack. There are no other unguarded units. So my Storm Spirit can guard this and be destroyed, dealing 1 damage back to the Lion Weight, and it is now exhausted. Now it's my turn. For my side action, I'm going to use my Freezing Rain. This is a side action. Cost a leaf, place 1 exhaustion token on target exhausted unit. So I'm going to put an exhaustion token onto this Lion Weight, so it is now doubly exhausted. And if I pass, they're going to pass, so that's going to be the end of the round, so I'm not going to pass. And instead, I'm going to main action, use Kanna Galeheart to look at the top 5 cards of my deck and put an action spell into my hand, and I guess I will pick the Gathering Clouds, and the rest is going to get shuffled into my deck. Then it's going to be their turn, they're going to pass, my turn. I also have to pass my main action, but for my side action, I'm going to use my second Freezing Rain to put a 3rd exhaustion token onto the Lion Weight. So now it is triply exhausted, and why am I doing that? Instead of killing it, when I could have meditated turn 1 the first time to turn a leaf into a frog, and then this turn use that frog to ping the Lion Weight to kill it, as that is because I want to give them less aspects next round. So what's going to happen now, this is going to stay in my hand for now, everything's going to unexhaust, and when everything unexhausts, they only remove 1 exhaustion token from them. So this Lion Weight only gets 1 exhaustion token removed, and now it's the end of the round. We're going to do our recoveries. This has no recover, and it doesn't have any damage. And that's going to give the Dragonborn 1 status token because they have 1 living aspect left. Then they're going to refill their battlefield up to their battlefield limit, which was 5. So because they already have 1 unit, they are only going to get 4 face down units. And now the Ready Spell 2 is going to activate, which is going to deal 3 damage to my Galewind Hawk, and place 2 random arrow conjured aspects onto the battlefield. Jeez. Okay, 1, 2... Oh, these should be face up. That's going to be a burning arrow and an entangling arrow. And then remove this ready spell from the game, go into ready spell 3. And now whenever they roll a crown, they're going to raise 2 basic dice to 1 level. But now the first player token flips. I'm the first player. Now I get to re-roll my dice, and I get to see if I want to keep this Gathering Clouds, which, to be completely honest, I shouldn't have chosen Gathering Clouds. I should have chosen a card I don't want. That way I could mulligan it, so I could search for my Hurricane. Or I could, like, fish for my Hurricane. 1 frog, 3 leaves, 1 basic. Okay. Now I choose if I want to keep the Gathering Clouds, which, to be honest, I do. Let's keep it. So I draw 4 more cards. Please have a Hurricane in my opening hand. Puncturing Wind, Gathering Clouds, no Hurricane. Alright, main action. This is rough, because if they attack, that's going to deal 3 damage to me, which I don't want to take, but I can technically take it. Wait, they're going to get another arrow as well, so they might get another burning arrow, so they might deal 5 damage to me, so I technically can take that. So I don't need to use my Gathering Clouds. I do have 2 Gathering Clouds, though. What am I doing? I have 2 Gathering Clouds, so let's just use it. So 2 Gathering Clouds, I'm going to use an Astral and a Basic to play my Gathering Clouds. This is going to cost my main and my side action, and that's going to give me 2 Cloud Spirits, and one of those Astro Dice is going to go onto my Phoenixborn. And that's going to be the end of my turn. So now it's their turn. They're going to get rid of a status token to get another random arrow, which is going to be a Whistling Arrow. And then they are going to roll. That's a basic. So now these burning arrows, all 3 of these arrows are attacking. I guess my Cloud Spirit will block 1 of these arrows. The Entangling Arrow forces me to lower 2 non-basic dice. So I will lower 1 moon to a basic and 1 leaf to a basic, and the Whistling Arrow cannot be blocked or guarded against by units with attack value of 1 or less, so my Cloud Spirit will block this Entangling Arrow, and the Whistling Arrow is going to be cancelled out by my Astral Die that is on my Phoenixborn, so I take no damage from this, but both of my Cloud Spirits are gone, and 2 of my dice were lowered. I guess I could just do that again, play another Gathering Clouds. Yeah, screw it, let's just do it again. Gathering Clouds, moon, and a basic. I'm going to use a nature basic. One of these is going to go on to Kanna Galeheart, and I'm going to get 2 more Cloud Spirits, and now it's going to be their turn. Basic. Attack if able, if not reveal. They can't attack with the Lion Weight because it's exhausted, so they will reveal a Fletch. Okay. That gives me some time. Some time. I'm going to use my summon Galewind Hawk. That costs a moon and a leaf to get my Galewind Hawk out. Side action, I'm going to do nothing. Yeah, side action, I'm going to do nothing. So, now it's going to be their turn. They're going to roll. A basic, attack if able, if not reveal. Again, they can't attack with anything, so they're going to reveal a God Shield, Armored 1. After this unit is dealt damage, prevent 1 of that damage from being received. That's okay. Now it's my turn. I'm going... Oh, one of these should be exhausted. I guess I might as well... I wouldn't have played the other one, but I don't have the cards to do it, or the dice to do it. So I guess I'm going to raise this to an owl by meditating away a puncturing wind. And then that's my side action. For my main action, I'm going to use these two to get out my second Gale Wind Hawk. And now it's going to be their turn. That's going to be a basic, attack if able, if not revealed. So the God Shield is attacking my rightmost unit, and I think I'm gonna have Kanna take this. I want my Gale Wind Hawks to live, so I'm just gonna have Kanna take 2 more damage. Which doesn't sound great, and it isn't great, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, I just realized I don't have a third dice anymore. Shoot, I can't search for a hurricane and play it to deal 1 damage to everything. That might have been a mistake. Either way, it is now exhausted. And now it's my turn. I'm going to play Summon Storm Spirit just to use up a main action, and I'm not going to use a side action. I'm waiting to see what this stuff is. So let's roll again. Basic, attack if able, if not reveal, so that's going to reveal a quick shot. When this unit comes into play, place 1 status token on the Dragonborn. Now it's my turn. Well, they can't get... Oh, I suppose they can get a second... I suppose if they roll a crown, it doesn't matter either way. Because what I'm thinking about is if I pass, they're going to get a free crown. But then if they were to roll a crown, it would also raise these up to crowns, which would give them a status token. But at the moment... But even if I don't pass... If they roll a crown, because we're on Ready Spell 3, that's going to turn both of these into crowns either way, so it doesn't matter if I do pass or not. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to pass. I'm going to pass, I'm going to give them a free dice, and then we're going to roll the dice to... Oh, now they're going to get a random arrow. Burning arrow. And they got a basic, so that's going to be attack if able, if not reveal, so the quick shot and the burning arrow are both attacking. I'm going to have Cloud Spirits block both of them to destroy them, and the quick shot has Blood 1. My turn, I'm going to continue to pass, giving them another free ding, and re-roll a basic, attack if able, if not reveal. They can't attack, so they're going to reveal their last unit, which is a lion weight. Cool. Okay, excellent. Excellent. What do I want to do now? With that information, I have a Searing Bolt in my hand. I can't actually target the lion weight because it's not exhausted with my Searing Bolt. So what's going to happen is if I pass, the lion weight is going to attack. I could take 3 damage, putting me up to 16 damage out of 17, and I can't have that. My Searing Bolt is going to cost a leaf, so that's going to consume my frog dice. So I still have my Astro die as a basic. I guess I could side action meditate, discard the top card of my deck, turn this into an owl, main action, use this owl to do a Summon Storm Spirit. Oh, technically, I don't need to do that. Because, sorry, pretend I didn't meditate. I have Focus 1 on this. If I control a card with an Astro die on it... Oh, I do control a card with an Astro die on it. Should I? Is that supposed to be there? Was I supposed to take damage at some point? If I was supposed to take damage at some point while that Astro die was there, I don't remember. And I'm going to assume that I didn't. I wasn't. If I was... I don't know, pretend I lost or something. But Focus 1, if I control a card with an Astro die on it, which my Phoenixborn does, maybe, you may change this activation spell to a cost to a side action, exhaust, and a basic. I don't think I want to do that, actually. I think I want to keep it as a main action so they don't get their dice. So you know what, I will meditate, I will change this to an owl, and I will use this as a main action and a moon to get out a Storm Spirit. Because if I change it to a side action, I need to find some other main action to do. So yeah. Also, where the heck did my leaf go? I know I have a leaf left. I had a frog left. I definitely had a frog left. And I also don't know if this is supposed to be here, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Just to be safe, to make sure I'm not cheating. Alright. So that's going to be it. Now it's their turn. Lion Weight is going to attack. I'm going to block with this Storm Spirit. Oh, when this Storm Spirit comes into play, I can lower 1 dice in their pool by 1 level. I'm going to lower this into a basic. And this is going to deal 1 damage back to the Lion Weight. And it is now exhausted. Now it's my turn, and I'm free to do whatever the heck I want. So, I am going to have Gale Wind Hawk attack the God Shield, I think. And when I do, I'm going to use a frog from my exhausted pool because of the gale winds. I can use a natural astral die from my exhausted pool and resolve its power without paying to deal 1 damage to the Fletch, which will destroy it, putting a status token onto the Dragonborn, but dealing 1 blood damage to it. And now it's going to roll the guard to see if the God Shield is guarded. And it is not. So that's going to deal 2 damage to the guard shield, which is reduced by 1 thanks to the armor, so it still takes 1 damage, destroying it, dealing 1 blood damage to Indiri. Okay, so the dice and health thing was bothering me enough that I decided to just pause the video and go back and check to make sure everything was set up properly. And yes, I am supposed to have a frog left, but one of my astro die, the astro die was supposed to be here, and it was supposed to soak up 1 of this damage. So 1 of this damage should not be on me. So now it is the Dragonborn's turn. Even though they passed last time, they still get a turn because they have a status token. So now they're going to get an arrow. And because they only have face-up aspects, they're going to attack with that arrow. When this unit is declared as an attacker, the opposing player must lower 2 non-basic dice in their active pool 1 level. So this frog is going to turn into a leaf, and I am going to not block this. So I'm going to take 1 damage, and this is going to be destroyed again. And now it is my turn. Now they have nothing left they're going to do, so I'm pretty much free to do whatever I want, not that I'm able to do much. So I am going to use... Wish I kept a astral dice around some other point so I could just summon another storm spirit, but I guess I'm going to meditate this leaf into a frog using my searing bolt. So I have a frog going in the next round, and then this Galewind Hawk is going to attack directly. They have no guard units, and when I attack, I'm going to use a frog from my exhaust pile to deal 1 damage to this lion weight, which will defeat this lion weight and deal 2 blood damage to the Dragonborn, which is going to put them up to 20 damage. Yes, this is going to put them up to 20 damage out of 30. I only have to deal 10 more damage, and that's going to be the end of the round. So now everything unexhaust, and I am once again able to guard. Not that I really think I want to when I have 13 damage on me. Lion Weight is going to remove 1 exhaustion token, not 2, but because they still have a living aspect, they're going to get a status token. And then we're going to refill their board. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to be the end of the aspect deck. So now wrong deck. So now we're going to have to shuffle up their graveyard, and if I were thinking that I could deal fatigue damage, I'd have to flip the fatigue card, but honestly, like, if you're not playing Charm, you're probably not going to, so I don't even bother half the time I'm playing. So then we are going to have to activate their ready spell, which will put 3 random arrow conjurations onto their battlefield. So we got an entangling arrow, a whistling arrow, and a burning arrow, 1 of each. They're also going to go first this time. And I need to roll my dice. I'm going to keep this frog because it's nice to have a frog. 1 frog, so I have 2 frogs total and 3 leaves, and 1 owl and... no, 2 owls and 3... okay, so I have no basics at the very least. I mean, I'm going to have basics soon because of this freaking entangling arrow, but at the moment I have no basics at least. And then we're going to draw back our hand size of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give me something good. Hurricane. Oh my god, I have an hurricane. I have hurricane. Okay. If they don't roll a basic, then I'm going to be good because then I can use my hurricane. If they do roll a basic, then they're going to attack with the center, with their next attacker that can attack, which is going to be their center icon, which means that they're all going to attack. So they have a status token, so they're going to get another arrow, which is going to be an entangling arrow. And then we're going to roll the dice, and man, it's not... this is a bad battlefield for me. This is a really bad battlefield for me. I have 4 HP left, so I can take 3 hits, meaning I can take the burning arrow maybe, and an entangling arrow, I guess. So that's 2, so either way I'm going to live, but this is not great. So let's roll the dice. That is a crown. Okay, so I got a crown, and the crown is raised 2 basic... okay, so first off, these are all going to turn back to basics because they're not basics, so they're going to get a status token, and then the crown is going to raise 2 of these basics into crowns. However, they did not attack, and they're going to reveal a volley of arrows. And Volley of Arrow only comes into play with 2 status tokens. I don't know why I thought it was 3. And at the beginning of the Dragonborn's turn, it's going to remove a status token from this unit to put a random arrow onto this battlefield, but they didn't attack with the arrows, meaning my very first move, I think I am going to indeed use my Hurricane. Before I use my Hurricane, I'm going to use... I need something to unexhaust. What do I want to be able to unexhaust? I guess do I have a second Hurricane in my graveyard? I know I have one. My second Hurricane is in my graveyard, so I'm not going to be using Kanna to search for it. So I guess... Sure, you know what? Let's go main action, summon Storm Spirit. I'm going to use a moon for this to get a Storm Spirit out. And when I do, I get to lower a dice to control by 1 level. And then... that's going to be my main action. This is going to be exhausted. And then my side action is going to be Hurricane. I'm going to use 2 leaves, 3 leaves. I'm going to use 3 leaves. Sure, 3 leaves for Hurricane. Remove a exhaustion token from a variety spell or Phoenixborn. Lower 3 dice in their active pool by 1 level. And then deal 1 damage to all units that opponent controls. So that's going to deal 1 damage to the lie in wait, which will defeat it. 1 damage to the volley of arrows. Sorry, when the lie in wait is defeated, it's going to deal 2 blood damage to the Dragonborn. And then 1 damage to all of these arrows, which will defeat all of these arrows. Okay. Okay. So that's my main and my side action, and then it's going to be their turn, and I'm not out of the woods just yet, because what's going to happen now is that the volley of arrows is going to give them an arrow, and Indiri himself has a status token, so he's also going to get an arrow. Technically, I guess I could have waited to see if I could get off all of those arrows taken out with 1 Hurricane, because now they're going to get 2 more, but also, like, I don't want to risk it. That would be very bad. So let's see, Whistling Arrow and Burning Arrow, followed by the roll of a dice to see what they're going to get. And that's going to be a crown, so technically I guess I should have waited, but too late now. So it's going to be 2 dice raised 1 level, and a God Shield who attacks the rightmost unit. And now it's my turn. I need to deal 8 more damage. Can I deal 8 damage? I have 2, 4, 5. I don't have an Astro die on me, unfortunately. I was going to say that what I can do is if I can destroy the volley of arrows, then even if they roll a basic, their next leftmost unit is going to be God Shield, who attacks my rightmost unit, meaning that it's not going to activate all the arrows. So then I'd be free to attack next turn, even if they rolled a basic and try to kill them. But in order to defeat the volley of arrows, I need to either use my side action using a frog to defeat it, or I have to attack with a Galewind Hawk to activate a frog in my discard, or in my exhausted pool, to defeat it. But then I won't have enough damage afterwards. Or if I use my frog, I can't use my side action this turn to set up my Tailwind by putting an Astro die on myself. And if I use my Galewind Hawk to attack, then I'm not going to have enough damage via the Tailwind. I'd have 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. Won't be enough to defeat Indiri. How many of my... what are they called? Gathering Clouds. 3 of my Gathering Clouds are into my discard as well. I can't grab another Gathering Clouds either. Can't grab a Hurricane or a Gathering Clouds. I also think this Summon Storm Spirit is supposed to be exhausted. Alright, I guess let's set up a blocker then. I'm going to use a frog and a moon to play my Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser is a 1/3/1 with recovery 1/1. Chase 2. When this unit is declared as an attacker, if I've played an action spell this turn, add 2 to this unit's attack value for the remainder of the turn. And that's my main action. For my side action, I'm going to put the owl on me and hope they don't attack. I think that's the only thing I can really do. So, third turn, they're going to get rid of a status token from here to give themselves another arrow. That's going to be another Whistling Arrow. And then we're going to roll the dice. That's going to be a basic. That is a basic. Okay, so now all of these are attacking. All of them are attacking, I guess. What's the best thing I can do? I don't think I can... So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I would have to block with all 4 units in order to keep this dice on me. And in that case, the Tailwind isn't worth having because I won't have any units to use the Tailwind with. So, I think... Well, first of all, there's 2 Whistling Arrows. Oh, there's 2 Whistling Arrows. There's no Tangling Arrows, so I don't have to deal with that. The Whistling Arrows can't be blocked by units with an attack value of 1 or less. I think I'm going to let both of these through. One of the damage is going to be taken up by this Astro die, and one of the damage is going to go through to me. So now I'm at 14 out of 17 damage. Then there's the burning arrow left. And I think I'm going to have my storm spirit block this burning arrow. So now this burning arrow is taken care of. And then it's just a volley of arrows left. So I am at 14 out of 17 damage. I think I can actually just take this volley of arrows. Is that a really, really bad idea? I think that's a really, really bad idea. But I also kind of want to do it. Okay. I'm going to take this volley of arrows attack. So this is going to be exhausted, and I'm going to take 2 damage, putting me up to 16. Yeah, 16 out of 17. So one more hit and I will be dead. But that's the end of their attack. And now it's my turn. I can't use my Tailwind. If I attack, I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. That won't be enough. I need to deal 8 damage. Wait, I can do 8 damage. So side action, I'm going to use my Searing Bolt. I'm not going to use my frog. I'm not going to use my frog to ping this volley of arrows. I'm going to use my Searing Bolt because this is an action spell. Side action, Searing Bolt, deal 2 damage to target unit and opponent controls with the highest life values they control. Volley of Arrows has 2 life, God Shield has 1 life. So this is going to defeat the Volley of Arrows, dealing 2 blood damage to the Dragonborn. So now they're at 14 out of 30. God Shield doesn't actually have the shield aspect, so now all 3 of my units from my main action are going to attack, and I'm attacking with Storm Chaser because I've played a action spell this turn. This is going to get +2 to his attack, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage to Indari, putting him up to 31 out of 30 damage, and I've defeated Indari. Okay, I defeated Indiri Aldair. Like, what? That was... Okay. I don't know how that was for you guys, but for me, that was freaking stressful. This was way harder than any game I've ever played against Kalani, and way more like, I have to actually think about stuff and what's about to happen and stuff. Yeah, Indari's way better than Kalani, and I might actually be able to be like, no, Dragonborn actually are valid, right? Because back when it was just Kalani, I was like, Dragonborn kind of suck. But yeah, I'm actually like, that was fun. I'm down for this. I'm definitely excited to play against Indari again. And I'm actually not that excited to be playing Maeve's deck against Indari because this was kind of brutal. This was really, really hard. The only reason I got through this is because I had I got the Hurricanes, which deals 1 damage to all their units, but I don't think Maeve's deck has any AoE damage like that, so that's going to be really, really hard. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that, so maybe in the next game I'm actually just going to play with 4 aspects instead of 5. I also think that Indari, like specifically because of his arrows, it actually makes you think about the fact that when the center icon attacks, they all attack at once. Whereas, like, that's actually a mechanic that you have to account for when you're playing him, so that's always on your mind. Whereas with Kalani, it kind of doesn't matter if they attack at once because there's no flavor to it, right? There's no, like... I don't know how to describe it, but when you're playing against Kalani, it's really easy to forget that the center icons all attack at once. As for Kanna, also, these freaking arrows are annoying. These are annoying. Entangling arrow? I hate entangling arrows so much. But Kanna Galeheart is very, very fun. I think that I played her pretty badly. I think I could have done a couple of those things way more optimally. But it also could just be that this was a bad matchup. There was some bad stuff going on in this game. So I'm excited to play Kanna some more. Also, she's not like tied to the Astro Dice, so I'm excited to deck build with Kanna as well because I can see her being a lot of fun, especially against Indari. So hopefully I will see you then when I do that stuff. And as for the next game, it definitely will be Maeve's default deck against Indari, like I said, but I'm probably going to do 4 aspects instead of 5 because that's scary. That's really, really scary. See you then. Goodbye.